What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a new episode of the J-Rock Show here from the SimWorld TV studios here in Houston. I'm your host, Jason J.K. Candell, as always, and I'm here with another guest this week. I'm here with Showtime Basketball head coach Kendall Joyner. Had the new release of his show, The War General, so check that out. We're going to talk to him about that. It's great to have you here, Coach Joyner. So, how are we doing today, for starters?
I'm doing good. Can't wait till Wednesday for y'all to finally get this new show on. SWU ball has been great, but a little disappointed that my team didn't make the dance.
Yeah, I saw that. Tough way to go out, but it was a great season for you guys nonetheless. I can't wait to talk to you about the show and the SimWorld U season. But let's start with where the J-Rock show usually starts nowadays, and that's with the J-Rock Performer of the Week, and that's going to North Carolina senior Bam Wallace. Had 31 points on Tuesday against Duke, yet UNC loses that game. They don't give the ball to him late in that game. They go to Kasim Porter Jr. instead in the clutch, and they end up losing by one. Heartbreaker, and Hubert Davis has been eviscerated on social media, frankly for good reason.
Yeah. I mean, that shot at the end was not the look you wanted. I mean, not from Kasim Porter in this game particularly. He wasn't shooting well to begin with, so trusting him with a really tough shot just didn't make much sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I like Kasim Porter Jr. a lot. He's a very talented player and a guy who I think's got a great future, but declining comments with the media after a game like that is just a little bit unprofessional, where sometimes you got to hold yourself accountable.
It is, but he's a freshman, and I get it. Big rivalry. You just missed the go home bucket. You don't want to talk to nobody. I'm sure as he goes through the ranks, as he's the star player, and as he goes through the SWBA, he'll take those comments and be professional about it.
Definitely. I like Kasim Porter Jr. Definitely has an SWBA future. Was a great game, though. So I love tuning into that
Amazing.
on CBS. So I hope you did too, man.
Loved it. Every minute.
Is there any debate that is the best rivalry in SimWorld U?
At the moment, I can't say it is. There's no debate. Those two teams, no matter how bad or good one is, it's always going to be a close game, and they're going to take it down to the wire. Performances like Bam Wallace or a team performance like Duke, it's perfect basketball.
Yeah, there's just so many iconic moments, and you can never do it. They've only met once in the big dance in Hoopsteria. I would love to see these two teams meet again in Hoopsteria, because that was just such a disappointing way to cap off the season series. I need it.
We need it.
Hey, SimWorld TV bosses, whoever's listening to this, please, if Duke and UNC meet in Hoopsteria, please let me be the lead play-by-play on that game. Oh my God, that would be a dream come true, Coach Joyner.
Man, give me JK and Rick Blaze. Perfection.
That's the optimal broadcast duo, not myself and Coach Drayton.
Oh, you and Coach Drayton too. I need the energy from Blaze though.
Oh,
because he's.
Hear me out. 3-man booth.
If you can 3-man weave it, y'all three, perfect.
Oh, that would be so much fun. But let's talk about the next big topic. Kelvin Sampson for Houston retiring. There's been a lot of names floated out. There's been Dre Pope. There's been Alyssa Dodge. There's been Tim Belardi. There's been a bunch of them. There's even been Mitch Henderson at Princeton potentially making the jump. But there's a lot of interest. Dre Pope has even said publicly that if they offered him the job today, he would accept it. That's a pretty ringing endorsement for a program that's really struggled in recent years. But
I'm sure he
honest,
wants that job there.
yeah.
Right in the Texas recruiting. Yeah.
Brett Lee was brought up for it. So what I want to ask you, I know you know a lot of these SimWorld prep coaches very well. Who are the guys? Not only do you see making the jump to SimWorld U, but potentially taking this Houston job?
For the Houston job, I talk I talk to Pope a lot. I think it's Pope or Lee. I think Pope or Brett Lee. I think they've lined themselves up to really take this
Yeah,
job.
and I know you talk to a lot of these SimWorld prep coaches, Coach Joyner. So there's a lot of intrigue around this job. A lot of guys who could make the jump. Princeton's Mitch Henderson's been floated. Coach Dodge, Coach Tim Bellardi, Coach Dre Pope, Brad Lee, even, and Tomas Kusa. He's been floated for that Minnesota job too. So tell me, who do you think will not only take this Houston job, but what SimWorld prep coaches do you think are primed to make the jump? Well, whose coaching skill sets will translate the best? Because we've already seen Coach Drayton make the jump.
Yeah, so for for the Houston job, Coach Pope, Coach Lee, I think those two are my leading candidates there. Especially Pope with I talk to him a lot, so I know how his recruiting goes. With his recruiting talent and being in Texas, I think they can make a quick turnaround. Kusa, I do think takes that Minnesota job. Um, I think those three are the main ones I see making that leap this season. I would throw in Dries, but I think he has already made comments that he wants to stay with Philadelphia for a little bit.
Yeah, and I think he should. I think he's kind of waiting it out, which I think makes sense because you have a guy like Coach Skinny looking to get back on the sidelines. He can take a SimWorld U job. Coach Dodge, same thing. Coach
Yeah,
Bellardi and Dre Pope's also proven he can make the jump. But Dries Williams, maybe there's just a job that doesn't appeal to him as much. I think something with him is that he wants to stay in that East Coast area, do what Coach Drayton did. So I think if a job like Seton Hall becomes available, or Rutgers,
that
or
could be good for him.
I think that's what I could see Dries Williams doing because I think he would love to stay in that Pennsylvania area.
Yeah, I agree. I think that East Coast, especially Northeast, would be good for him.
Yes, but we're talking about Coach Kusa. He might get that Minnesota job. Dre Pope really wants the Houston job. Said publicly that if he was offered it, he would take it immediately. He's in pursuit of a SimWorld U job, Coach Pope, and I know you mentioned that you have a good relationship with him. So how do you think he would fare, not only in Houston, just collegiately?
I think he'd fare pretty well, especially in some good recruiting hotbeds. If he could get to like a around the Georgia area, North Carolina, Texas, Louisiana, those areas that have really good recruits coming out of them, I think he'd be good. As far as the on the sideline stuff, I mean, he's obviously proven that he can make that stuff work. So if he can get his guys and do his coaching, he'll be good.
Yeah, he's a big players coach. I know Coach Pope very well. Very good friend of mine, and I talk to him all the time. And he was the one who told me if I was offered that Houston job, I'm taking it right now. They better call me. And but
And
let's
he is not kidding.
yeah, let's also talk about Coach Drayton because we have him at Syracuse. He was the first coach to make the jump. He's been killing it on the recruiting trail. Flipped LaJoran Tompkins, the number 16 prospect in SimWorld Prep, reclassified up a year, decommitted from Duke, leaves the number one team in the country to go commit for and play for Coach Drayton at a winless Syracuse team. Impressive showing from Coach Drayton.
He just he's amazing at the recruiting. It when it comes to these players and knowing who Drayton is, they already know what he's about. They know what he wants. He's very clear with them. There, he's going to be a great coach to play for. And maybe LeJourn thought that he could make a bigger name for himself at Syracuse, maybe be a bigger star, just like Kasim Porter has turned out to be so far at UNC. That came off the Coach Drayton tree.
Levin Cutler at Alabama, another one. Fareed Redmond, another one. He knows how to get these guys ready. I get why guys want to play for him, Coach Joyner.
And of course they do. I mean, he's a winner. That's at the end of the day, winning will always. Whether you're going to be at a winless team, bringing in a coach who's just a winner, people want to play for that.
Of course. I know when I played basketball, I wanted to play for that. So it's the same thing. And we're bringing up winners,
Exactly.
we're bringing up winning culture. Like, are there teams or players that you've really been enjoying watching on the SimWorld Eve slate this season? Is there who you've
Of
been plugged in with?
course, being from Maryland, being from Maryland, CKC. That that's my guy. Also, the entire Georgetown roster, I love them. Even though they've been sliding as of late, but I need them to creep back up because I love Georgetown, CKC, and Maryland. I love watching those guys. Those are my favorite guys to watch right now. Kashawn Ship over at St. John's. I love his game. I think he's really pro ready right now.
I love watching a pro ready player, Coach Joyner. It's a guy. Some of these seniors like the Lamarian Sherwoods and the Keyshawn Ships are so pro ready. It's maybe their upside isn't as high as a
Yes.
Jamison Johnson, but it's very impressive to watch. Like a guy who I love watching. As I love saying, I love to watch me some Jalen Snow. Anybody who watches the J Rock show, anybody who watches JK's Player of the Night, you guys know
Oh,
I love Jalen Snow.
yes, he's amazing. I can't wait for to have him in somebody's jersey next season.
Also, it's interesting to me that you brought up Cooper Kingy Cross and Georgetown's back in the rankings after that big win over Villanova. But do you think that CKC is the number one pick over Lamar and Sherwood? I know you're a big CKC guy, so are the blinders on, or
Love it.
are we on the CKC hype train?
Of course I am. Maryland is my favorite team, so I am on CKC's hype train until he retires. Him and his brother. I'm hyping them up. He's my number one pick, and I'm gonna ride for it.
And so, is he also your Naismith Player of the Year?
Can't go that far. Sherwood is my player of the year.
All right,
He's been way too dominant.
you can really go either way. It's a guy in the Big Ten. That's very obvious. But let's get into why the big reason I wanted to have you on the show this week is let's talk about your show. Drops every Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Coach Joyner, the War General. How did you come up with the idea for this show, and what are you really looking to accomplish with it?
All right, so I've always wanted to be a GM, JK. That's my dream. Hopefully, I can get there for the Wizards one day, but I want to be the guy in the big chair making the tough decisions. That's what the show is really about. I want to hopefully propose a question to the audience, have them answer it. I give them the facts, help them make that choice, and then I'll tell you my choice at the end, whether a team should keep rebuilding or blow everything up, or whether a player should stay in college or go ahead and commit, who guys should recruit, things like that. Just tough choices.
I like it. I think that it's something that SimWorld U and SimWorld as a whole has really been lacking. I like that interpersonal aspect of it, and like I always thought that the war room aspect of it is so cool. So I think the fact that Coach Joyner's doing the war room and you have a platform to talk straight to the people is something that I will absolutely be seated for. So if you ever need a guest on your show, I'm happy to be there.
You're welcome anytime, JK.
I appreciate that. Just like you're welcome anytime here, as you know. But you mentioned it a little bit earlier in the show. Bit of a bad beat for your Showtime squad. Lost a tiebreaker to Indy Stripes. No longer going dancing anymore. Just did that leave a bit of a bad taste in your mouth? Just kind of tell me a little bit more about that.
I mean, it does, but at the end of the day, that's where we played ourselves into. We played ourselves into hoping that we could beat a tiebreaker. Sadly, it came down to the Indy Stripes who beat us earlier in the season. We cut and dry. We should have won more games. That's it.
Definitely. And we were talking about making the SimWorld jump with guys like Coach Drayton and Coach Pope. Is that something that you've ever Is that something you've ever considered making that SimWorld jump yourself?
Oh yeah, if I can get an offer from a team that uh I like the opportunity of, I would make the jump. Yes.
Are
No,
you
do I think it's coming this season after these two? Yeah, probably not. But if it comes, yes.
so you're just open to whatever the right opportunity with the right program with the right school. You're just not itching to immediately make the jump, which more of like a Dries Williams, like we talked about.
Yeah, I'm not itching to make a jump to a school that I don't see a vision towards. Like I'm not just gonna jump just to jump. Now, if the right school and I can see something with it, I would make the jump.
Okay, I can get that. And just tell me about starting coaching and starting basketball to be as a whole.
It's a coach. So it all started with my brother. Really, my brother's the ball player. I'm not a ball player really. I was the guy sitting on the sidelines, helping keep stats, being close to the coach, keeping stats, paying attention to what the coach is doing. Also really into front office management. So I also pay attention to a lot of what the SWBA GMs are doing with their teams, how they go about scouting and things like that, where they scout out, where they scout at, and things like that. So I really love the behind the scenes kind of front office jobs. It was never really the best or the best player. I left that to my brother.
Who doesn't love the brotherly love like that? One's the brain, one's the brawn. It it just works out so well. Look at the King E crosses; both of them are thriving in college. Who's to say the Joiners can't do the same?
Exactly. So I'll be trying to hold up the name on the front office side. Hopefully he can hold it up on the court.
And my final question for you on this episode of the J Rock Show is: what do you hope your players get out of this season, and what do you hope that they've really learned from you? What kind of message are you trying to set across through your coaching?
And now in a season like this where there was a lot of space in between tournaments and things, I'm just hoping they learn to stay in the gym. Whether a tournament's coming up or it's 2 months from now, stay in the gym, keep getting better. Better days are ahead. Whether next season you'll be on a championship level uh, university team or whatever it is, just keep working. It'll always come to something. Something good will come from hard work. That's what I want them to take from this season.
Absolutely, I get it, and that's gonna do it for this episode of the J Rock Show. I really appreciate you for coming on, Coach Joyner. It's been great talking to you. You're
For
always
having me
welcome
on.
to come back, man. I can't wait to tune into Coach Joyner's The War Room. I think it's such a great concept, and I love talking ball with you. You clearly have a great mind for the game. But